Hello chess lovers, I have an amazing game for you played by Viswanathan Anand. His opponent is Ninov Kiril and the game was played in 1987. Anand started with e4, c5 by black, knight f3, e6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, a6, bishop d3, bishop c5. This is the Polugaevsky variation of Sicilian defense. Knight b3, bishop a7, knight c3, knight c6, queen e2, d6, bishop e3, bishop takes e3. I will speak about this exchange of bishops a bit later. Queen takes e3, knight f6, and now comes a very strong move by white. Can you find that move? Ready? Before this game, usually white was castling queenside and then placing the rook on g1 and playing g4. But this time we see this strong g4 move immediately. According to Viswanathan Anand, this move he found over the board. Black played b5, but let's have a look what will happen if you take on g4. Queen g3, knight f6, queen takes g7, rook g8, queen h6. Well, black can play bishop d7, then queen e7 and castle queenside. Though, of course, these d6 and b6 squares look very vulnerable and white can use that fact. Let's go back. Instead of taking on g4, as I have already mentioned, black played b5, starting an immediate attack on the queen side. White castled queenside, black castled g5, knight e8. Not a pleasant choice for black to place the knight on e8 square. But if knight d7, then white has the strong bishop e2. Of course, usually white doesn't go for the d6 pawn in Sicilian defense, but a free pawn can always be a good idea. Later, white can simply play queen d2 and just take on d6. Now let's go back to move 9, where black took on e3. Because of this game, black started to delay the exchange of dark color bishops in order to leave the white queen on e2, which was not allowing bishop e2 on move 14 in this position. Now let's go on with our game. We see knight e8, white plays f4, b4 by black, knight e2, a5, knight bd4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen b6, e5, bishop b7, the rook on h1 is under attack, rook f1, d takes e5, f takes e5, and here comes a bad move by black, rook d8. Can you find now the winning move for white? Ready? Well, instead of playing rook d8, it was very important to play g6. Preventing bishop takes h7 check. But when you are playing rook d8, now comes this strong bishop takes h7 check, which we see in the game. Black took on h7 and now comes another amazing move. Can you find that move? g6 check. What a move. Well, you can't capture on g6 with a pawn because your rook on f8 is hanging. And taking on g6 with a king can be very dangerous for black. That's why black king retreated back to g8 square and now comes queen h3, threatening a checkmate on h7. In this position, black has to give up his knight by playing knight f6. Well, taking on g6 with a pawn is not good because after rook takes f8, king takes f8, white has this simple knight takes e6 check. Let's go back. Black played knight f6 and now e takes f6. Just have a look at this position. You won't see every day such attacking pawns on f6 and g6. This looks so beautiful. In this position, black played f takes g6 and after f takes g7, black resigned. Well, if you take on g7, then knight e6 check is winning. And if you play rook takes f1, then simply queen h8 check, king f7, rook takes f1 check, king e7, queen h4 check, and then simply rook f8, and white is easily winning the game. What a brilliant attacking game by Viswanathan Anand. Your comments and questions please, and thanks for watching. Good luck.